What is going on, Alpha Hunters? The markets are closed for August the 9th. And what a week we had. We're going to go through it, see what kind of went on this week. But we had a pretty wicked start to the week as, we gapped down roughly 4% to start the week on Monday. 4% on a Monday. Usually Monday gap downs are never good. And this one was a pretty brutal one. So, what led to this 4% gap down? If you haven't heard, the Bank of Japan changed their rates. They dropped their rates, I think, a quarter point, which then sent bond prices up, right? And there's a known trade called the carry trade. Well, you sell the bonds, the government bonds in Japan. You take that money and you invest it elsewhere because Japan holds their interest rates really low level, like really low, just about near zero. So when they dropped them a quarter point, it sent bond prices higher, which if you're short and selling the bonds, right, and the bond prices go higher, well, now you gotta kind of make up for that. And if you short or sell anything, that's going to be a leverage position. So what kind of led to that was all of the brokers and exchanges had a margin call because there's probably just a lot of leverage out there for doing this style of investing and trading. And a quarter point change in Japan led to a 4% drop on the market in the US. Now, that's actually not bad because Japan market dropped like 7%, and there was other markets that also were down quite substantially on Monday. But you can see it got bought up very quickly in the US markets, pulled back there going to the end part of the day. So yeah, it was a kind of interesting day. Tuesday got going back higher, dropped off a little bit towards the end there on Tuesday. Wednesday, nice little gap up. A little bit of a double top, sneaky spot here, right? Sneaky spot, kind of gapped up to Tuesday's high. And yeah, we just kind of sold down the rest of the day. Ended kind of at the session lows. Thursday, nice little gap up, hung out there for about 15-20 minutes, and then started climbing there for the rest of the day. Kind of sideways towards the end of the day. Friday, kind of sideways to start the day. Had a little bit of a run there midday. Pulled back though, and had a little bit of an uptrend there towards the end of the day. As far as sector performance on the week, yep. And industrials outperforming the most, as well as energies also doing pretty well. Financials, communications, and tech all outperforming there on the week. Underperformers, real estate, staples, healthcare, utilities, discretionaries, and materials at the lower end of the week. All right, yeah, so you can see how the VIX started out this week. Huge spike, all the way up into the mid 60s. Even the past couple of weeks, as we've kind of been talking about the VIX climbing here. I didn't even think that was about to happen, but we are coming back down. We got back down in the lower 20s by the end of the week. So, yeah, that's kind of a interesting spot. I'm just going to zoom out here because, man, that spike is so strong. I mean, we got way up into, last time we were at those levels that we got on Monday was back in COVID. And, yeah, I mean, not much else to say. It's kind of a no-brainer time to be just not bearish at that point in time. I wasn't really thinking we were going to open this week that week or that much of a gap down, but it is what it is. So yeah, pulling back a little bit more on the VIX. I'd expect the next couple of weeks to be a very telling and to see what's going to happen on the market. The DXY, the dollar index, not too bad. Obviously, we had these big drops last Friday. On Monday, nice little bounce back, kind of retested into that 10 EMA on Thursday, and now it's kind of now what's going to happen, right? Now it's like, okay, we retested higher, we hit into a resistance. Obviously, we rejected off of that. We tried to roll back over Friday, a little bit lower wick. So we're going to chop here and then maybe bounce and go bullish. I mean, it's great question. So I think we're going to have plenty of time to kind of see how things maybe set up, or you're looking to be bearish off of that from the breakdown that we did have late last week, early this past week. GLD Gold Trust continue looks good. Be bullish on dips. Yeah, I mean, that's about all I got. Looks good. 10-year yield. Yep, that breakdown that we had over 2 previous weeks looks pretty good. Gap down, start the week, got bought right back up. I mean, all yields, didn't get bought on yields, but yields did trade higher. And then kind of retested right into this 4% level, right? The 4% level, which has been pretty important. And so we'll see if we hold under it this time or if we get back above it. If we get back above it, I imagine yields just keep climbing. but I think the 4% level is kind of important. We might just also continue to chop sideways because, well, I mean, we got to the 4% level almost 2 years ago. It was September, late September 22. So, I mean, that's kind of where we are now. So we could continue to chop sideways, consolidate, bounce around, whatever. So if something happens here, obviously we'll talk about it. Oh my goodness, the 10 and 2 inversion. So that was one thing that about Monday that happened was we barely got uninverted. Barely. Very quickly because everything was moving so rapidly on Monday. And then we pulled back and then we bounced Tuesday, Wednesday. It was looking like maybe we were going to really uninvert and then we came back down Thursday, Friday. So we're probably still on this upward trend to uninvert. So the next 3 weeks, that's why I was kind of mentioning a little bit before, probably going to be pretty important for us to kind of see HYG, high yield corporate bonds. This is more of the risk area, right? Risk area bonds. So yeah, they were down pretty strong there on Monday. They bounced back pretty good, by Thursday, Friday. They didn't really do too much. I can understand if you get like another day of consolidation here, maybe you start to look to be bullish here. LQD, the investment grade corporate bond ETF, looks pretty good. Maintaining this uptrend that we've had for the past 4 or 5 months. And yeah, we had a little bit of a pullback this week. Nice bounce there on Friday. Kind of just pulled in the moving averages. Probably just keeps going higher. Same thing with the TLT. We had that sharp move higher at the end of last week, beginning of this week. But on that gap up there on Monday, I mean, we just started to pull back pretty good all the way into Thursday, and a nice bounce there on Friday. So with how sharp the move was here over the past week or two, I want to see it settle down just at least a little bit for a few days or something like that. Maybe this next week we'll probably see some settled out things across the market. All right, take a look at the IYT Transportation ETF. Yeah, we had a pretty good breakdown at the end of last week. Nice little gap down there on Monday to start the day. And all we've kind of done by the end of the week is kind of just retesting the moving averages and kind of the 64 level, which has been really kind of important. So this next week, if we start to see some breakdowns of, I would say, tech and transportation or transportation, might be an early sign of let's start to bail out of some things. RSP. First off, let me run through all of these on a weekly. That way we can just kind of see them. So the weekly, it was down 0.07%. So basically a flat week, but it was technically a down week. And yeah, I mean, you see how much we did gap down there. We did get bought back up. But we could just as easily sell down next week, and it doesn't look all that great. So that's the only bad thing about kind of gapping down that much on a Monday is then you have to use a lot of buying power to get back kind of up, and that's kind of the worrisome part on Monday gap downs. They are typically not good things. DIA though, 0.5% down on the week, did get bought up. It is kind of right below that 10 EMA on a weekly, so we'll see what happens there. IWM actually closed down a little bit over 1% on the week, gap down right to the 200 EMA SMA on a weekly. Yeah, nice little bounce though off of that. Qs had a pretty good gap down. Obviously you can see they actually ended the week positive. Okay, so the Qs ended the week positive. It did gap down at about the 50 EMA there on a weekly time frame, but then just jumped from there. SPY did end the week positive, 0.02%. So very much slightly positive, I guess, is the official numbers. Nice gap down. Didn't quite get to that 50 EMA. We are in between that 10 and 20 on a weekly time frame. So that's just kind of how that looks. As far as looking at all these on a daily time frame, yeah, I just want to see some consolidation here. So that's about the main thing I'm going to say about a lot of these. I just want to see some consolidation. I almost wouldn't doubt it if you're looking to be bullish. We'll probably push bullish maybe Monday, Tuesday, maybe early Wednesday, maybe snag a little bit. If we got the pullback late this next week, maybe like Thursday, Friday, maybe trying to go bullish off of that. The one thing that's going to be an issue here, at least on the DIAs, you got this kind of pivot level here around 398. IWM is also going to have some different resistances up higher just because, man, this thing had such a strong sell down at the end of last week to start this week. And same kind of deal for the Qs though. I just want to see some consolidation, and they've got a lot of moving averages to get through. And that's the other thing about the Qs is it hasn't even gotten back to its 100 moving average on a daily time frame yet. So yeah, I don't doubt that we probably do go a little bit higher this next week. I just don't like how we're already kind of, retesting into that 10 EMA and not holding it, and we kind of sold down a little bit from that. So that'd be about the only thing I would say is, even if we do wind up pushing higher, we'll probably have some kind of pullback if we want to get in bullish. I was kind of mentioning that earlier in the week, so if you don't see the daily videos, I was kind of mentioning that really on Wednesday, that, even if we do wind up pushing higher, we'll probably have a pullback you can get in on if you do like that we do push up, we do clear some things. But the Qs coming into that 100 is going to be pretty important. Probably happens this next week, so we'll see what happens. That SPY obviously got back above its 100 on the daily, but we do have some moving averages coming down. Mostly the 20 and 50. Looks like it basically closed right on top of that 10 EMA by the end of Friday, and we'll see what happens. Another thing just kind of noticing here is we do have a little bit of an island reversal right here. We don't have like perfect overlapping between this gap that we had back on June 12th and this low that we had on July 25th and this gap down that we had on August 2nd. So yeah, we have a little bit of an open island reversal there. So very interesting that we do have that. Typically you don't see them that long. So I would imagine if we do make a run maybe up into these moving averages that are coming down, we'll probably see some resistance. So again, I'll probably just say, I would be looking to maybe de-leverage bullish, de-risk yourself a little bit and see what happens here over the next week or two. Off of how much selling we saw at the end of last week, the gap down we saw on Monday, and selling that we saw there on Wednesday, I would imagine we see some more selling come back in. Maybe we push a little bit higher this week, and then we get it, and then we go higher, something like that. Or maybe we start to just roll over. I don't know. I mean, either scenario, you can just get out now, be bullish on it later. Let the market prove to you what it's gonna do. One of the things that we were kind of talking about on Monday is don't panic. Don't panic. With how much selling that came in last week on Thursday, Friday, the market will rally. You will get a better spot to get out. Yeah, it's not a bad spot. So Alpha Hunters, have a great weekend and take care.